Thanks, everyone, coming out Sunday afternoon, Spanish Fork, Utah. This is our email address. Comments, correspondence, feedback. Website is there for more information, utahchristians.org. Everything is inspired by the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder and chair of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Om Aganati Marandasya Ganangana Salakya Chatsurun Miditam Yanatashmai Sri Gurave Maha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Sayam Rupa Karamyam Tarati Swa Parantikam. Today our topic is words are like seeds. We are where we are today, at least partially, because the words that we've spoken about ourselves. The words themselves are like seeds that you plant. And when you speak something out, you give life to what you're saying. And if you continue to say it repeatedly, eventually, that seed blossoms. That seed becomes a reality. And whether you realize it or not, the words that we speak now are prophesying our futures. And that's great when you go around saying, I'm special, I'm unique, I'm one of a kind, I've got a contribution to make that only I can make. I was created for a great purpose, and by golly, I'm going to fulfill it. But would you also agree with me that too many people are making dire predictions over their lives? I never get the breaks. I'm just a C student. I'll probably get laid off. I'll never get back into shape and lose that weight. What they're doing is they're calling in defeat, mediocrity, bad breaks, and lack. In Scripture it says we're eating the fruits of our words. When you talk, you're planting seeds. Sooner or later, those seeds will bear fruit. You're going to have to eat that fruit. I'm sure we'd all rather eat sweet than bitter fruit. Yes? No? Therefore, you're going to have to be careful about what kind of seeds you're planting. If you want oranges, you want apples, you want mangoes, then don't plant cactus seeds, mushrooms, or poison ivy. Okay? Nelson Mandela, whose name you all know, he opposed the apartheid regime, and he was in prison for 30 years, knew the power of words. Quote, "It is never my custom to use words lightly. If 27 years in prison has taught me anything, it was to use the silence of solitude to make me understand how precious words are and how real speech is in its impact on the way people live and die." He goes on to say, words are the power of God, and we have no right to misuse them. We are created in God's image, principally because of the power that we have with words. And words, can I tell you, they do more than just convey information. The power of words can destroy another person's spirit, stir up hatred and violence. Anyone doubt that in this day and age? They not only exacerbate wounds, but they also inflict them directly. Of all the creatures on the planet, only man has the ability to communicate through the spoken word. The power to use words is a unique and wonderful gift from God. Hence, I heard this quote recently, careless, loose, and inordinate speech is a characteristic of our extrovert and restless civilization. We do not understand the power of deliberate and careful speech because we're ignorant of the source of this precious faculty and totally unaware of the power of the spoken word. Our speech is too often impulsive and hence thoughtless and meaningless. Much of the turmoil in our world today is not only reflected but also caused by our misuse of the power of speech. Our foolish, wrong use of words adds to the prevailing confusion and is a major factor in creating tensions and bringing about misunderstandings. We are divided today through words. Now, acknowledging that, good news is that if we could purify and control our speech, we would tone up our moral fiber, improve our character, and thus become better able to seek the solutions for the many, many problems we're facing. And this quote finishes in this way: all who dream of a better world should first and foremost watch the words that you speak, because those words will either save us as a civilization or they will damn us. For anyone aspiring to live higher spiritual life, control of speech is a sine qua non. All the great transcendentalists have enjoined the purification of and the restraint of speech. That was the quote. Now, in other words, to paraphrase that, you can't talk negative and lead a positive life. You can't talk defeat and expect to have victory. You can't talk lack, boo-hoo, poor me, not enough, can't afford it, never get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. So if you don't like what you're seeing in your life right now, our suggestion is start sowing some different seeds. Instead of saying, I'll never get well, true, this sickness has been in my family for several generations. Well, plant the right seeds by saying, Krishna, or God, is restoring health back to me. This sickness did not come to stay. It came to pass. I'm going to get better and better every day. You keep sowing those positive seeds, and even though you don't feel healthy now, just see if the cumulative effect of those affirmations don't bring you to a point of health and restoration, wholeness and victory. The Bhagavad Gita particularly talks quite a bit about how we can use our tongue and bless or curse our lives thereby. Many people don't realize they are cursing their future with their words. Every time you say, I don't have enough what it takes, I don't get any good breaks, you just put a curse on your future. I'll never be able to afford that nice house. I'll never be able to break this addiction. I'll never meet the right person. Curse, 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 curse. Our enjoyment today is stop cursing your future. You know, we don't need an enemy externally coming at us with weapons and swords and guns and all to defeat us, because we're just doing a really good job of defeating ourselves. So pay attention to what you're saying. Are you cursing your life? Are you blessing your life? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita says, actual speech is that which describes the qualities of the Lord. Real hands are those which work for the Lord. A true mind is that which always remembers him, dwelling with everything non-moving and moving. Actual ears are those which listen to satisfying topics about him. Put it in a different way, actual speech is glorifying the name, pastimes, and paraphernalia of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I've heard it said we are snared by the words from our mouth. Snared means to be trapped, like a rabbit. Your words can snare you. What you say can cause you to stumble and keep you from your potential. You're not snared by what you think. Negative thoughts come to us all. There's not much we can do about them. But when you take that thought and you audibilize it, when you speak it out loud, that's when you give it life. That's when it becomes a reality. If you say, I'll never get back into shape, it becomes much more difficult to get back into shape. You just made it harder. When you say, I never get any good breaks, you stop the favor that was ordained to you. If you say, I'm not that talented, I don't have a good personality, you're calling in mediocrity, setting the limits for your life. When negative thoughts come, the key is never verbalize them. That thought will die stillborn if you do not speak it. Even if you feel you're about to burst with negativity, you've got to get on the cell phone and tell someone about it. You've got to make a comment on Facebook. Then learn the art of faking it until you make it. Or maybe I should say, faithing it until you make it. You may think, I'll never get that job. I'll never get well. I'll never meet the right person. Those thoughts come to all of us. You can't stop that. But our challenge is don't give those words life by speaking them out loud. Don't call your friends and tell them all how it's not going to happen. Don't wolf whistle and call the ladies by lascivious names, because that's a seed, the result of which you may actually end up with a fur coat and 4 legs in your next life. Tell yourself, okay, I don't see a way, but I know that Krishna or God has a way. He didn't bring me this far just to leave me hanging. God is supplying all of our needs. It may look impossible from my current point of view, but with Him, all things are possible. No better than to curse your future. Don't get trapped by your words. Here's a quote from a Back to Godhead article. I don't know who wrote this. It says, in the tough times, you have to be, and remember, in the tough times, you have to be on guard. It's very tempting to vent your frustration and tell people how the loan didn't go through, how the medical report is bad, or how certain people just don't treat you right. And when you continually talk about the problem, it's only going to make you more discouraged. Give that problem more life. Make it bigger. Encouragement is to turn things around. Don't talk about the problem. Talk about Krishna's promises in the Bhagavad Gita. That if you keep a chaste tongue, an honest tongue, Krishna will help you overcome all the obstacles and all the challenges of material life. Essentially, instead of saying, oh man, I got this big challenge, turn around and say, I serve this bigger God, and He spoke worlds into existence. Nothing's too difficult for Him. Instead of moaning, oh, I didn't get the promotion they promised, they passed over me again, another disappointment, declare, I know that when that door closes, it means that Krishna has something better in mind. He's directing my steps. I'm going to get excited about that closed door because God is directing my future. Instead of concluding, I'll never meet the right person, I'm too old, it's been too long, it's too late, start getting excited. Something good is going to happen to me. Divine connections are coming along. Now here's the key. In life, there's 2 voices that are always competing for your attention. The voice of faith and the voice of defeat. It's not going to work out. Just accept it as you are. You will always be. As much as 87% of everything we hear is negative and counterproductive and works against us. You think I'm exaggerating? No, I'm not exaggerating. If you grew up in an average household, you hear the word no or are told what you can't do more than 148,000 times by the time you reach 18. And what is that? Unintentional negative programming. No wonder we're tempted to worry, to be negative, to complain. But if you listen carefully, you'll hear another still, calming, resonant voice from deep within your heart. That's the voice of the Paramatma, the super soul, who's pouring faith into you. God has a way. Favor is coming. Healing is coming. Breakthroughs are coming. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One voice will say, you've reached your limits, you've gone as far as you can, you don't have what it takes. The other voice is clear, resonant, and matter of fact. You are well able. Your best days are still out in front of you. Now, here's the beauty. You get to choose. You get to choose which voice comes to life. The way you do that is by the way that you speak. When you verbalize that thought, you're giving it the right to come to pass. If you mope around saying the problem's too big, I'll never get well, you're choosing the wrong voice. You have to get into agreement with Krishna. The other voice may seem more louder, more insistent, more raucous, but you can override it. You can take away all of its power by starving it, not feeding it. If you start and make the right choices, initially it may be hard, initially it may be inconvenient. Your flesh will have a riot when you no longer march to its orders, but eventually get easier and easier and easier and easier. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Arjuna started the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, by verbalizing all of his negative thoughts and doubts. Better I'm killed by my relatives, unarmed and unresisting, rather than to live at the cost of the lives of those who are my superiors. And what was the first thing that Krishna told Arjuna to do? Zip it up. That's a paraphrase from the Sanskrit. He said, stop your negative, bodily-based words. Why did Krishna do that? Because he knew that if Arjuna continued talking about the body, he'd become progressively more and more depressed. Because what is the body? The body is earth, the body is dark, the body is ignorance, the body is temporary. And the fate of this body is earth. If you're a Christian, you're buried, right? If you're a Hindu, it's going to be ashes. And some cultures believe the body should serve a purpose. They just throw it out in the path and let the dogs and the vultures eat it. And in that case, this precious body becomes stool. So Krishna knew that if Arjuna went along talking about bodily relationships, he was inevitably going to dig himself deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole it's very hard to get out of. So Krishna says to Arjuna, keep a lid on it. You may think it, but don't speak it out loud. And then Krishna, in the 700 immortal verses of the Bhagavad Gita, starts to predict Arjuna's future based on Arjuna's just being quiet. And instead of speaking what he didn't know about with his mouth, his one mouth, using his two God-given ears to listen. And Krishna predicts the future. He says, these maldoers, these culprits, Duryodhana and company, they're already put to death by my arrangement. I have already put them to death, Arjuna. Whether you decide to fight or not, they're not going home tonight. So you might as well relax, let go of all of your negative thoughts and flow. Be an instrument in the fight. In the end, Arjuna got into agreement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we learn from Arjuna's case that Krishna, or God, is telling each and every one of us he wants us to do something great. He didn't make you to be average, to be ordinary, to make excuses, to have a pity party, to moan and groan and play the victim. No. It's easy to do that, especially in this society. You think it was easy for Arjuna 5,000 years ago. It's really, really easy now because everybody is playing the victim card. In fact, if you don't play the victim card, they're going to go after you. There's a subtle meaning to that. You can think about it. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Oh, I can't do that. They're my relatives. I can't fight them. Why did this happen to me? Why do I, of all people, have to face my cousins and my teachers? I don't have the energy. I don't have the will. I don't have the vision. Arjuna starts to go down that road with excuse after excuse after excuse. But Krishna says to Arjuna, stop it. If you can't be positive, at least be silent. Don't curse your future. Those negative, bodily centered words are going to keep you from God's best. Negative words stop the promises that are already on the way. I wonder how many times that you've just been a couple of months away from seeing the answer. A couple of months away from meeting the right person. You've been praying for years that Krishna would bring that connection, that person into your life. But right before that somebody shows up, you let your guard down and you start saying, oh, it's not going to happen. I'm not good at looking enough. I don't have enough of a personality. Nobody's interested in me. I'm too old. And Krishna has to say, oh, okay, well, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Put the pause button. Well, the good news this afternoon is that promise is still in your future. Krishna didn't recall it. He didn't cancel it because you had a lapse, because you got negative. He still has the right person for you, but you've got to do your part and zip it up and switch over from doubt into faith. At the right time, the right person will show up. Krishna will release what your negative words have delayed to this point because he wants the best for you. He's your loving Father. He has healing. He has restoration. He has promotion all lined up for you. But we have to quit talking about how it's not going to happen. You may not see a way, but Krishna has a way. It may look impossible, but Krishna can do the impossible. Just because you don't see anything happen doesn't mean nothing's happening. Right now, behind the scenes, he's arranging things in the favor of those who keep him first place and chanting his names. He's lining up the right people. He's moving the wrong people out of the way, positioning you exactly where he wants you to be. Now, don't delay the promise by speaking negative words. If you can't be positive, at least be quiet. Your words prophesy your future. If you say, I'll never get into the college of my choice, you're right. You'll never get into the college of your choice. If you say this problem's going to sink me, it's going to take you under. If you say, I'll never be able to afford a nice house, then you'll never be able to afford a nice house. You're being snared by the words of your mouth. And what we're saying this afternoon is, instead of imprisoning yourself with negative words, take the positive alternative. Use the same amount of energy to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Like George Harrison said, chant the names of the Lord and you'll be free. Chant the names of the Lord and you'll be free. All through the day, you need to ask yourself, is what I'm about to say what I want to come into my life? Because whatever you say, you're inviting it in. And when you say, I'll never pay off my house, I'll never get out of debt, the economy is too slow, you're inviting struggle, lack. When you say my career is dead-ended, this is as good as it gets, you're inviting defeat and mediocrity. You need to send out some new invitations. When you say I will lend and not borrow, when you say God's favor surrounds me like a shield, whatever I touch prospers and succeeds, you're inviting increase. You're inviting good breaks. You're inviting success. When you say, I, with God's help, will overcome this problem, I am more than a conqueror, equipped. If God be for me, who dare be against me? You're inviting strength, healing, restoration, vindication, and breakthroughs. Yes, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna started vocalizing his doubts. Krishna basically told him to shut his mouth and start listening. None of us ever learned anything when we were speaking. Krishna reversed the outpouring of Arjuna's negative words, and he inputted the immortal words of the Bhagavad Gita. Those words dissipated Arjuna's confusion like the sun dissipates the darkness with the sunrise. And after hearing from Krishna, Arjuna said, Nashta mohasmitalam, chatprashadam, stito shmingata, karishase vachanam. Krishna, I totally accept as truth everything that you've told me. I'm now firmly fixed and free from doubt. I'm fully prepared to move ahead according to your instructions. So instead of giving voice to the negative, to the lusty thoughts and cursing your future, let me offer you this afternoon the positive alternative, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You may initially feel hesitant, doubtful, not exactly confident. You may not initially feel equipped, prosperous, healthy, or blessed, but if you open your heart and your mouth to the all-powerful names of the Lord, things will turn gradually in your favor. You'll go from the odds being against you to them being overwhelmingly in your favor. The winds of Krishna's grace will blow in your direction. You will become full of peace, joy, abundance, purposefulness, and satisfaction in this life and next life. You'll go back to home, back to Godhead. If any of that resonates with you, you're welcome to raise your hands in the air. We can all say it together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all so very, very much. Let's practice what we preach. Ananda Gaudavaj